I have a printed agenda.
Is it this one? Okay.
You don't have to follow.
We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And let's start out the meeting. I know that we're all aware, and the community is also aware now that we have a teacher that's had a is experiencing some difficult health situation right now. So I'd like to just have a moment, a little moment of silence and offer a prayer to Heather May. You know, we're all sending her all the strength that we can. So just wanted to take that moment. At this point, we are going to enter into executive session to be convened to discuss the contract of the superintendent of schools. So I would like to move to enter into executive session if I may have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. All right, then we will, we are now in an executive session.
public. So everything has to be voted on in public. All right. It just so strange.
Are we back on recording? Okay.
Did we lose Paul?
Do that.
He'll be back.
We called them 15 minutes. It's only
That's
just one.
true. It's 12. My computer's restarting. I don't know what is happening here. That is okay. All right. Well, I'd like to move to leave executive session and enter a public session if I may have a second.
Second.
All in favor? Yes.
Yes.
So nice not to have to. watch them. All right, we are live. We are going to begin tonight's work session with Policy Review Committee.
Okay. We just met previous to this and reviewed. BOCES sent us a raft of policy changes, not additions, but largely around language and being consistent. And there are many of these policies: sexual harassment in the workplace, equal employment opportunity, dignity for all students, sexual harassment of students. These all, and equal educational opportunities. These all cross-reference laws, and most of these are updating them just to make sure we have the appropriate policies and laws in there. There are a couple of policies that we went through on first read that we are going to make sure they jive with what we currently have in our code of conduct. One of them, there's a hazing of students policy, and we are pretty sure that we cover that fully in other areas. So we're going to hold on that and look at it. The annual review process policies include the areas of the responsibilities of the board and how we nominate the officers. That would be Joe and Daniel. And the duties of the district clerk, the tax collector, and the treasurer. Those are all pretty straightforward, and we're not recommending any changes in there. And then the second reads that we went through again are we discussed those last time, and there's no changes, nothing that we were putting on hold from last time. So it does appear that there is a lot of new numbers on laws as opposed to language and laws. And this largely this month was keeping up with making sure we have all the laws in cross-reference. I do say that BOCES recommended these changes for clarity, but I'll tell you what, there are so many laws involved in harassment and educational opportunities and employment opportunities. I'm not sure it's a lot clearer. And I don't know if anybody would be able to cross-reference, but they're very detailed about how to file complaints and handle complaints in that area. Did I miss anything? You guys? Okay.
All right.
That would be policy.
Dr. Grupka, cybersecurity assessment.
So last time we were together, we heard from Reed Maxim, who is our internal auditor. And the job of the internal auditor is to look at everything that we do for security breach internally when it comes to finances. And a big area that they're looking at right now is cybersecurity. It's been a really hot topic. There's been a lot of breaches for different districts. It's impacted some architects that I know of. So we really thought for the extra piece of what we do with the audit, usually we have a focus area every year. Last year, I believe it was payroll, the year before it was attendance. They really would like to do a cybersecurity test. We sat down with Mr. Hill, and of the areas that they offer compliance, process, and penetration testing. And those are the three key areas. We really believe the most important at this point would be penetration testing. What we would be looking at is external vulnerability assessment, internal vulnerability assessment, social engineering, so phishing, spear phishing, how well do we respond to those things when it happens, and some bundle tests. So we're going to do that as a bundle to do it all together. So I'm asking that you approve that we just go through that process with Reed Maxim. I think it'll be really good, really refined view of how our security is beyond what BOCES provides. So we have a lot of security through BOCES, and that's great, and they do their own testing. But how are we doing from an infrastructure perspective at Newport? That's what we'll be looking at.
So when you say like the phishing, so it'll actually like test to see how well our staff actually, so it'll actually like maybe send some.
Yes, my friend said
Okay.
if you open something and get a dancing clown, we'll know that.
And so that might note to us that we need to do better training in that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
So,
sense.
so Nick Hill has sent out some staff development. It's a requirement, but he sent staff development out to all of our staff. So we really think now that it's fresh, it's a good time to really look at, you know, how closely we pay attention, how we read our emails when they come in, what we click on when we're in a hurry, all of those good things. Maybe it'll slow people down a bit.
Will this lower our risk in upcoming audits for cybersecurity? Because I know we said that's always an inherent risky area.
It should lower our risk,
Okay.
making people aware. You know, I have a friend who works for Chase, and if you open the email, they make you retake the training. So it's yeah, kind of interesting.
For Yorkville, which is super annoying, but we just put this filter on all of our emails. So there's a yellow banner across the top of it. And it says this email did not come from this domain, our domain.
Yeah.
So any external emails have that on it. So it just kind of, I think, helps make people look at it and say, well, I should double check this attachment before I open it because it's not like from internal, right?
Ours say that, I believe,
Yeah,
too.
we do have a filter that does that as well.
Yeah.
So yes, it should make us safer.
They'd be like, no more attachments. You have to deliver them to me in person.
We're going back to paper. And when when was that going to be done?
Well, if we get it approved tonight, we're gonna try to get it done before the end of the year.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. All right, anyone else have any questions? Okay. Claims audit review. Dr. Krupka? Anything?
Nothing on it. So,
Okay.
If you have any questions about claims audit or how it happens, I can answer those, but otherwise, doing okay.
All right, very good. Mr. Casari, COVID-19 update, status of school reopening.
Yeah, well,
Things are happening?
things are happening finally. So as you're all aware, Friday night, the state released guidance. The guidance, surprisingly, New York State tends to weigh in more on a more conservative basis, which really the guidance just in every way, shape, or form mirrors virtually all of the language of the CDC. So social distancing in classrooms is now reduced to 3 feet. And, you know, for greater or lesser to say, it's virtually 6 feet everywhere else. And, you know, you could talk about 6 feet must be maintained between adults at all times, 6 feet still in common areas, gymnasiums, cafeterias, hallways, 6 feet maintained when students cannot wear masks, such as when eating. 6 feet is now required for PE, singing, and wind instruments. It used to be 12 feet. However, you know, the new 3 feet regulation, and with regard to transportation, it doesn't weigh in. It says appropriate social distancing, which if you go back to the original FAQ, that July 22nd FAQ, it talks about whenever possible, or if you know, programmatic reasons you need to have them closer. So that's transportation. There are qualifiers, as you are, and I are aware, for the 3 feet, and that has to do with this CDC transmission rate. And Dr. Lyon, maybe you could pull that up for me. So if you can close up. So first of all, this is the actual guidance document, which I shared with all of you and is now on our website. And again, it's not the 154-page guidance document. It more or less is an overview of that original guidance, but then it goes on to talk about the 3 feet. And it talks about, I believe it's later in the document on page, I'm going to say in the 20s. It talks about the qualifiers to the 3 feet.